this video, I'm going to show you how to set up this Eureka Copper Canyon LX, take it down, pack it up, and also how long it takes to do all of this. So when I first unboxed this Eureka tent, I got this blue carry bag. And after even more unboxing, here's all the other stuff that I got. Here you can see the stakes in a small carry bag, all the poles in another carry bag, 2 mesh gear lofts, the tent body, and also the blue rainfly on top of the tent body. Before we get to the setup, I just want to show you the number of poles that we're dealing with here. So after you take them all out of the carry bag, you'll find 7 poles which look like this. I got 4 of these steel poles. They are completely black in color, and these are for like the main tent body or the walls of the Eureka tent. I also got 2 of these fiberglass poles with metal ferrules at both ends, and these poles are for the roof of the tent. And lastly, there's one much thinner fiberglass pole, also with metal ferrules, and this pole is for the rainfly. So 7 poles altogether. And now we get to the part that you've been waiting for, how to set up this Eureka Copper Canyon tent. First, grab the tent body, lay it on the ground, and position it the way you prefer it to be, like what I'm doing here. To do so, look for the single door right here, which basically shows you where the front of the tent is. After that, look for these elbow joints on the tent body. They're black in color, and there are 4 of these around the tent. I recommend gently pulling on these joints and kind of arranging the top of the tent nicely, like this. I like that I can see the 2 orange pole sleeves clearly because we're gonna need that next. Then grab the 2 fiberglass poles, the ones for the roof of this tent, and sleeve these 2 poles through the 2 orange pole sleeves here. Honestly, I found these pole sleeves a tad too long and they were a bit snaggy when I was trying to insert the poles through. So if you have the same problem, don't worry, I think it's pretty normal. When you're done with both poles, you'll get this X shape at the top of the tent, like this. Now go to one end of one of the fiberglass poles and insert the ferrule end into the elbow joint, like so. The joint is exactly the same on both sides, so just pick one side and insert the pole into it. Then go to the other end of that same fiberglass pole and insert the metal end into the elbow joint as well. Now, with one pole secured, do the exact same thing with the other fiberglass pole by securing one end into the elbow joint first and then the other end. When I was trying to secure the very last joint right here, I had to use all my strength to push on the pole to get it into the joint. It was honestly super tiring, especially for the first time setting up this tent. One tip I have for you here is to get a little bend into the pole like this, which makes it easier to slide it into the joint. So after securing both poles into the 4 joints, the roof of my Eureka tent normally concaves in like this because of that slight bend that I was talking about. After that, you can just easily step onto the roof and pull the tent up until the entire roof is propped up the correct way. Oh, and don't worry, after I broke this tent in a few uses later, it was a lot less painful inserting the poles into the joints. And of course, getting a little bend into the pole by concaving the roof really helps as well. Now it's time to break out these 4 steel poles. I noticed that one end of each steel pole is hollow like this, and the other end has a much smaller pin-sized hole like this. So the hollow end with the bigger hole is to be inserted into the elbow joint up here like this. And the other end with the smaller pin-sized hole is to be inserted, you guessed it, into the pin at the bottom of the tent, which looks like this. And this is what the pole will look like close up, and this is what the pole should look like when you're done securing it at both ends. I have another setup tip for you here if you're setting this tent up by yourself. Obviously, it's much easier to set this up with 2 people, but for a 1-person setup, and if you're not very tall like me, I like to make sure that the elbow joint of the roof is nicely propped up like this. For me at least, this makes it much easier to secure the pole by sliding the pin into the end of the pole. On the other hand, when I didn't prop the elbow joint up and I just let it rest on the ground like this, I found it super difficult to get the pin into the hole. I even thought that the tent fabric was gonna tear. Thankfully though, it didn't. After you're done securing the first pole at both ends, which is usually the most difficult pole to attach, go ahead and attach the second, third, and fourth steel pole. It gets easier and the fourth pole is actually the easiest to attach. Now pull the tent out and also zip the door shut. I recommend doing this before staking the tent down so you won't have any issues zipping it up after staking it down. And also attach all the pole clips on the tent body to the 4 steel wall poles. There are 2 pole clips for each steel pole, so 8 pole clips altogether around this entire tent. And now it's time to stake down the tent, and I recommend doing this ASAP because this tent flies away really easily, especially when it's not staked down. I got 8 of these standard shepherd hook stakes from Eureka, which is not a lot honestly, but it's enough for 4 stakes for the tent base and another 4 stakes for the guy lines. At the bottom of the tent, at each corner I found this webbing here, and I used this to stake the tent base down. I also noticed that 2 of these webbings are black in color and the other 2 are orange, and I'll show you why in a bit. For now, just grab the rainfly and we're gonna set this up. Because I'm not very tall, I'm about 5'3" or 160 centimeters tall. What I like to do is to just take one corner of the rainfly and then I slide it over the top of the tent here. After that, without letting go of that corner, I just walk around the tent and pull the entire rainfly along with me. And this gets it above the tent almost every single time. Now, there are a couple of ways to make sure that the rainfly is in the correct position above the tent. For one, there's this pole sleeve in the rainfly, and this should be at the front of the tent over the door. This part of the rainfly is also slightly longer than the rest of the tent. And second, there's this small strip of fabric sewn onto the extended edges of the rainfly, and this is color-coded to the webbing at the base of the tent, which earlier I promised to explain to you. These 2 are color-coded black, and these 2 are color-coded orange, so it makes your job a lot easier. Once you've made sure that the rainfly has been put on correctly, just secure the extended edges of the rainfly to the base of the tent. For each corner of the tent, there's an S-hook on the rainfly which I've then secured to this plastic loop on this webbing. To further secure the rainfly to the tent, each of these steel wall poles also has 3 additional Velcro attachments like this. So altogether 12 Velcro attachments on the entire tent, and it's pretty easy to just secure each of them. After that, it's time to guy out the entire tent. There will be 4 of these triangular little pouches at the 4 corners of the tent, and inside I found each of my 4 pre-attached guy lines. So I just used my last 4 stakes to guy out these 4 guy lines. This is what each of my guy lines looked like, and there's even 4 of these extra loops at each corner of the tent to add 4 more guy lines if you need to. And now grab the last pole, which is the rainfly pole, and just slide it into this small pole sleeve on the rainfly at the front of the tent. This is what the rainfly pole looks like after I'm done setting it up. And to secure this rainfly pole, the ends of the pole are to go into these 2 grommets in these pole clips. This is a full time lapse of me setting up the entire Eureka Copper Canyon LX on my own with no help from anyone else at all. But before I let you know how long this entire setup took me, if you found this setup video and my tips helpful, it would mean so much if you could help me hit that like button. Thank you, and I really appreciate it. Anyway, moving on, the entire setup process, including staking and guying out the entire tent, took me about 14 minutes. But I've already broken in my tent, and I've set up and taken it down at least half a dozen times. So just take note that on your first go setting up this Eureka tent, you'll take a little longer than just 14 minutes. Taking down the Eureka Copper Canyon LX is just the opposite of the setup, and it took me about 12 minutes for the entire takedown and pack up. Here's a quick summary of how I normally pack away my Eureka tent if you're interested. For the tent body, after taking it down, I usually fold it in half 1 and only 2 times at first. After that, I third it and then roll it up gently while squeezing as much air out as possible. I tried folding it in half 3 times, but I found it a bit too big to fit back into the carry bag. So I think thirding it is the way to go. After that, I tuck the tent body back into the carry bag, then I pack up the rainfly by just folding it in half continuously while tucking all the guy lines and S-hooks in nicely until it gets small enough to be squished back into the carry bag as well. There's this small space here beside the tent body, and that's where I usually squish my folded up rainfly into. And now I pretty much just dump everything else back in, like the poles, the stakes, and the gear lofts. I really like the carry bag of the Eureka Copper Canyon. It's very nicely designed, and it's super easy to fit everything back in. One side of the carry bag comes with this Velcro strip, so that's what I usually secure first, and then after that I just zip everything up. It's super easy to zip up without any struggling at all, and look at this, I can even do it one-handed, which is amazing. I'll leave 2 videos here for more info on this tent. One is a rain test on this Eureka Copper Canyon LX6, and the other is a complete review. Thank you for watching this setup video, and I'll see you in the next one.